Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. Those things we didn't get to during the course of the show today, including this about Tori Kelly. You talked about her yesterday not doing well and having blood clots and passing out, and she was in the hospital and wasn't doing well. Her husband actually just posted something recently and kind of a positive update on her status, which is really good because she's young. What did we say she was, 33? Can you look her up real quick, Gavin? She might be younger than that. She might be in her 20s still.
She is exactly 30.
She's 30, okay. And so, yeah, that's a scary thing to have that kind of a health issue that young. And so he says, Tori is smiling again and feeling stronger, that we're not fully out of the woods yet, but we see the sun now, just waiting on a few more answers. And he wanted to thank everybody for their kindness and the support and all of that good stuff.
Aww.
So, yeah, just a quick update.
Well, I'm glad to hear that she's doing better because, I mean, she's so young to be dealing with something so crazy or life taking.
Threatening. Yeah. And she seems really nice. She's somebody I don't really know. We've talked to her one time, like on a red carpet, and you're just flying through things, and she was super kind and really nice and stuff. But you're like, oh, okay, she's pretty cool. There was a weird story too. I hope this is like a bad story, but I'm hoping it has like an accidental thing. There were 3 Marines. Did you see this story? The 3 Marines that were found dead in a car at like a gas station.
It's like an NCIS episode.
I know, right? And so people are like, well, how did this happen? And then it turns out it was carbon monoxide.
Oh, that's scary.
Right.
That is terrifying.
And then you're like, okay, well, did these 3 guys, they were just sitting there hanging out. They fell asleep because they were tired from their shifts at Camp Lejeune and left the car running and died? Or was it like a pact, like they don't have any answers on that part of it yet, but it was like, wow, that's really, really sad. Okay, wait. Was the tailpipe to the car, like, was it backed up against something? Or did it look purposeful? No, that's the thing. At least from what they said, there was no sign of foul play. There was no thing like that. Sometimes they tell you, I know, like, officers used to, when they would sit in their cars all the time, they would crack the hood of their cars if they're going to be in there for a long time working with the AC on and stuff, because you can have carbon monoxide leaks in your car. And so they definitely recommend not sitting in your car with it running and everything closed up if you've got one of those leaks. And so I hope for these people's families, it turns out to be some kind of a weird freak accident versus something intentional, because that's so much harder. That leaves people with so many questions, and it's really, really rough on them. So I just had a bunch of short news things today. This one here is
I have a medical condition, all right. It's called caring too much, and it's incurable.
Oh, Michigan, Lansing, Michigan. They say, this was the headline, the scientifically discredited practice of so-called conversion therapy, which aims to convert LGBTQ people to heterosexuality or transgender expectations, is now banned for minors in Michigan under a law signed by their governor, Gretchen Whitmer. So what this is saying is they're saying you can no longer, if you have a child that says, hey, I think I am gay or I want to be trans, they're saying that you cannot have an influence on them and you can't send them to a place to say, well, here's another side to the story. Maybe this is a phase. Maybe you don't feel this way. Here's another option, So they're saying, no, you cannot do that. This is the worst thing in the world, conversion therapy, And they cite a bunch of times that maybe it has been done poorly in the past by different religious groups or what have you. But the part of this is it's saying you cannot do this with a child, okay? And so what's really weird about this is Michigan becomes the 22nd state to outlaw conversion therapy. And this is what the state lawmakers defined this practice as. Any practice or treatment by mental health professionals that seek to change an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity. That's conversion therapy. Does that not play to the opposite side of saying you're embracing LGBTQ, you're embracing trans. It's the same exact definition, but they look at this and they go, no, this is helping a child. You're just trying to hurt this child, so you cannot do this. But by definition, it's the exact same thing that they are doing on the other side. The hypocrisy of this is palpable and beyond frustrating, that this is where we live in this world, that it's so bad to, maybe have some faith, or it's so bad to say, hey, this might not be the best thing for you, instead of just saying and taking kids and going, look, we just want you to do whatever you want to do, experience everything you want to experience, because you're 8 years old. You're smart enough to know all about your sexuality. Instead of that, you say, hey, I think we need to think this through, and I think we need to talk to people so you could make an informed decision. Instead, they vilify the right and they glorify the left, and they now are making it illegal to have this other perception by mental health professionals. It's absolute lunacy. I get it. If you say, hey, we think kids should be able to do, fine. I disagree with you, but it's kind of like abortion stuff, where if some lady wants to have an abortion, I think you should be able to, on both sides, pro-life and pro-choice, speak into that. Here's what we believe. Here's what we think. This might be good for you. I think both sides should be represented. In this LGBTQ stuff, with the world that we're in, I don't like the one side, but okay, fine. We're already past that. It's being pushed, shoved, touted to kids. So, okay, fine. We're not going to put that genie back in the bottle, but we should be able to, without penalty, provide another alternative, another explanation, another thought, for kids that don't have their lives figured out. You hit 18, do what you want. Don't care.
But this comes with, that's taking away people's freedom.
Yes, but they don't
to raise your own children.
Yes, and mental health professionals to not be able to say as a believer, hey, look, this is not healthy for you. And long term, this is not going to be healthy for you. And being able to speak into that, and they say that they're hurting the kids. But again, by definition, it's the exact same thing that they're doing on the other side, but they just don't want to see it because it doesn't fit their narrative. And that, to me, is the danger. It's like in mental health, you should be able to provide all aspects of the issue so that somebody can make an informed decision on their own. And if they choose, if you provide both options and they choose to become transgender, that's their choice. But at 18, not as a kid. Not as it's kids that can. We don't even let kids vote. We don't let them drive. We don't let them do anything when they're 8, 9 years old because they're not developed enough to do it. So why would we let them do this?
If you tell, in Michigan, you're telling parents you can't tell them that they can't be transgender or gay, then the same could be said for voting, for drinking, and for driving. Well, then you can't tell them that's right or wrong.
No, you should let them go. Let them experience it. If they feel they're ready, they're ready to get behind the wheel, absolutely. Who are we to say? You have to have a license to drive a car, but to change your gender in these states, oh no, you're fine. You feel it, we'll let you do it. And that is the worst thing you can do for people. I get really worked up about this because it makes me mad, because it's not, it's well-meaning, I think, from a lot of people, but it's not truth, and it doesn't help people. It ends up doing far more damage long-term, even though their heart might be in the right place. I look at things in our government, and all the debates with Obamacare back in the day. I didn't agree with the way they did things, but at the end of the day, I believe that he felt he was trying to do something that was good for people to get health care, because our healthcare system is kind of a mess. So now I don't agree with the practice or the way it went about it, but I don't vilify him and say he's this horrible person, that was trying to do this horrible thing. I think it's a difference of ideology, but ultimately they're trying to do something. And I think in the LGBTQ thing, I will be willing to give them that space that for most of them, they feel they're doing the right thing. In their soul, they feel that they're doing the right thing. I just disagree that they are, and stuff like that. But that's just a crazy, crazy story. That's where we're at in this world today. So, Lady Rock, what do you got?
Well, the movie The Sound of Freedom, by all numbers, is coming out a summer blockbuster.
That's crazy.
It's taking in around $125 million, which is really good because I think I read somewhere it only cost $15 million to make.
Yeah, they're in the black in a good way. And the funny thing is it's not from a movie standpoint. It's about a tough topic with child trafficking, and there are some creepy parts of the movie as they're not exploiting it, as they're trying to portray kind of this world, and they do a good job at walking up to the line to give you enough of that the reaction you should have, and to honor the story of what's going on. And so they do a good job with that. But as far as a movie goes, if you're going into it thinking, oh, it's going to be an action movie and he's going to rescue this girl and fight his way out and it's going to be pretty great, it's super boring, from a movie standpoint. It's not this fantastic movie.
Well, and I was told by a friend just the other day that went to go see it. She said that at the end of the movie, Jack Caviezel, is that his name?
Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel comes out and he tells about how this movie took 5 years to be able to get into the theater because there were so many things that they had to
roadblocks.
Yeah, that's crazy. But so the movie, they actually have it set up through Angel Studios that it's a strategy that says it allows people to buy tickets for strangers to claim and then use to watch at theaters for free. So if there's someone who wants to see it but can't afford it, we want to make sure that they can see it. It's what Angel Studios is saying.
It's a fascinating model to take the emotion that you're having there, because they don't put up anything of to end human trafficking, support this ministry, invest in this ministry. They don't do any of that. So they say to keep this narrative, going and for people to know so that we can do something about it, buy tickets for somebody else so that they can go see it. It's fascinating from a financial standpoint of they're generating another ticket sale while people are there, and people feel like they're doing something because there's nothing to do anything about stopping human trafficking, which is kind of a weird thing. But then it's it's almost like Slack division, where instead of being like this massive activist where you're actually treating the problem, you change your profile picture, And I think that this is an interesting model to boost ticket sales, but does it make a difference? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. More than 10 million tickets have been purchased through the app that they have used. Wow. It's called Pay It Forward.
Yeah.
So that's where you go. You use this app. You buy your ticket. You buy someone else's ticket.
That's cool.
During the movie's July 4th opening, Sound of Freedom scored $11.5 million from direct box office sales and $2.6 million, or over 20%, from Pay It Forward ticket sales.
That is interesting. I watched it. I'm like, okay, it was fine. The movie was fine. It didn't blow me away, but it was okay. But I didn't feel at the end like Jim Caviezel's pitch at the end, because one of the things we do, as part of our jobs is we fundraise, and so I know all the tricks and the psychology behind it and everything like that. But I'm not above it. If something moves me, even though I see it coming a mile away, if it moves me, then I give. And his pitch, I think, just didn't land. It wasn't super passionate. It tried, in my opinion, but it just was like, oh, okay. I didn't pay it forward because I don't know. I didn't feel like, oh, wow, this is the thing that is earth-shattering. It was solid. It was good. And I'm glad that the conversation is being had. But it wasn't one of those things that's like, oh, this is changing this. Are they donating a portion of that $115 million to actually stop human trafficking? I'd love to know that.
I thought you said that there's nothing that can be done.
Oh, no, human trafficking, yeah. but it's a small... the numbers on human trafficking, success for ministries that do this and groups that take this on as their mission, the numbers of success are very small. And now, while, for the few people that they pull out of human trafficking, it's life-changing for them, and it changes them, and then they have families, and so it goes and it grows a little bit more. But the numbers that you're working with, most of these ministries, when you talk to them and you start to break down, okay, how many girls did you rescue this year? That's amazing. And they're like, we're super excited. We got 21 girls out. And you're like, okay, this month? And they're like, this year.
which is amazing and it's great
for those 21 girls. And having this conversation sounds horrible. I'm fully aware of that, but like it's one of those things that it doesn't have that big. Like we just saved 500 girls from human trafficking this year, 1,000 girls, 2,000 girls, and so the numbers are so small versus what you spend to make that happen. It's kind of tough. And so we were talking about this off the air the other day, and Gavin was dead right. And it's why compassion is so important. And like working with ministries like that, it's prevention. Prevention is where you really do make the biggest difference, keeping girls and kids out of these predicaments where they do get trafficked, because getting them back from it is costly and very, very, very small success rate. But preventing it from happening in the first place, we're seeing great success with that, with Compassion and other ministries that do early intervention with families so that the family isn't broke. Because a lot of times the heartbreaking thing about this is a lot of times families will sell their own children into it. They will send them away as a nanny to go to another nearby country and live with a family and be the nanny. But they know it's an indentured servitude and that sex is part of it. And it's horrific to think that that's the desperation some families are in. So by changing and breaking the cycle of poverty, you can give these boys and girls a chance at the prevention part of it. And that's where I think you stand to see the most success long-term and with the most people. So, and all of this to say, I think this is really important. This is my own personal take. I've dealt with other ministries. We've had ministries approach us that were like, hey, this is what we do. And would you partner with us and help us like you help Compassion? And when we get down to the numbers, very few of them can tell you exactly how many girls that they've done. Very few can tell you a big number, of success rates, and so it's a harder pitch. But that is not to dissuade anybody from, if this is your calling and you feel like you're supposed to be all in on this, however it looks, and support other ministries that do rescue 8 girls a year, then by all means do it. Because for those 8 girls, it's life-changing. I'm just talking about how, like, for us as a ministry, partnering with other ministries, we need to try to help as many people as we can. And that's why I choose that. Like my friend Paul, he is called to helping the homeless. He has a passion for the homeless. He started a ministry, took a risk, and he does a great job with Shower Up and taking care of these people. That's not my calling. It's not my mission, or I'm not as passionate about that as he is. But kids that are in trouble and kids that are in poverty, that is something that I champion. And so everybody has the thing that lands with them and matters to them, and that's good. We should be different.
To do
exactly. Just help somewhere. Like I don't care what it is, but as long as you're helping somewhere, that's ultimately a good thing. So there you go. All right. Well, what do you have in the way of birthdays?
Well, I have a couple.
Oh, fantastic.
Julia and Krista want to both wish Cindy a happy birthday.
Nice.
Julia said her favorite child is Julia, me, because I moved somewhere warm that she can visit in the winter.
Nice.
And then Krista said she's kind of a rock star and a cancer survivor.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
That is amazing.
So happy birthday, Cindy. We've also got a birthday from yesterday. Beth, who wants to wish her twin sister, Gail, a happy birthday, said she is a sister and a friend. So happy birthday, Gail.
Did Gail wish Beth a happy birthday?
Oh, she did not.
Oh, we know who the better sister is. They might look alike, but we know the best one.
Awkward.
You got a question?
Okay, so I have 2.
Okay.
They're both from Julia and Krista.
Okay.
One of them is a would you rather. So, would you rather eat an apple core or orange peel?
Oh,
Orange peel.
apple core.
It's got seeds in it.
I know, but it still tastes better. The orange peel is really sour.
Yeah. Just chew on it, though.
No.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I've tried eating an orange peel.
You can like dry it out and put it in your tea. It's good.
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, no, I've tried that before.
Why?
I just on a bet.
What do you? On a bet.
Yeah, I've done that. We had a kid one time, the next door neighbor's kid, his mom had given him an apple. He was young too. And we were talking and everything like that. And then she looks over and she's like, Hunter, where's the core of your apple? Where's the rest of it? And he's like, what? He ate the whole thing. He was probably he's probably like 6 or something. Like he was so young. Funny. He ate the whole thing, seeds and all.
I'm always like, I've always carried it from like childhood that I'm afraid to eat like any seed of any plant
it's gonna
or
grow
fruit,
in your stomach.
that I'm gonna like have an apple grow inside of me somehow.
Well, I think I would
outside.
go with orange peel.
Really?
I just cannot imagine eating an apple core. That just seems like I would be eating the trunk of a tree.
Yeah. But the other thing is so bad. We could test it. You could try both.
I'll go eat like part of an apple. There's probably oranges around here somewhere.
Yeah.
We can see which one we like better.
The final question, this one is from Julia. Do you have magnets on your fridge, and why or why not?
Oof.
We do. Yeah, but not on the front of the fridge because ours, they don't stick. It's like a stainless steel look type thing. And so we have to stick them. If you look at our fridge, like you've seen our house, like it's all on the side. Like we have pictures and magnets of family or calendars or whatever. It's all on the side, which I like. But Betty Rock's parents have magnets on the fridge in her artwork as a 38-year-old. Yes. Yes.
No, I wish they did, but they don't. My mom doesn't like clutter. And so that's what she thinks is clutter. And so she just keeps it clean. And then at home, no.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
No.
Gavin?
Oh, yeah. We have a ton of magnets, and it's a lot of like photos that were turned into magnets. Haley's got some like ones that were like emojis. Like it's a hodgepodge and like very cluttered to the point where in my brain it's not like the front of the fridge. Like it's just that is the front of the fridge. There's not, the white fridge that we have. It's just whatever is on there.
Do you guys collect magnets?
No.
Oh, okay. Because there are people that when they travel, everyone wants to get a little tchotchke of where you traveled. And so I know a lot of people that they started collecting magnets and then you have just magnets everywhere. And you're like, okay, it seemed like a good idea at the time. And so like, we never did that. We always try to find like one piece of artwork or something handmade from somebody that we meet, and things like that now on trips. So then because we put it in this one travel room that we have, and it's got all of these tchotchkes from our trips. I really do like that. I think that's a good way. Because then when you look at that one piece, it's not just this clutter of things on your fridge, but you're like, oh, that's really cool. And it brings back a really good memory. So speaking of that, again, I'm going to be out starting next Monday. And so we're going to be on reruns for Aftercast, podcast, all that. Well, not podcast, but show and all that good stuff. So I apologize, but I need to go.
It's going to be a good restorative break.
I hope so.
And it's something that you need.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
You'll have fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be good.
Maybe you come back and we can do we haven't done
a slideshow.
A slideshow, live show.
Yeah.
A live slideshow.
I have a
slippery slideshow.
Slideshow,
there it is.
I have and it's funny too, because when we get back, it might dovetail with this. I have this story that I found about the photos that people hate for their friends to post. And so I want to look at what those are versus what I post while we're gone or what I take pictures of and see if I break the rule. Like I've put it out of my mind so I don't remember what it was, so I can't avoid it. And so I'm just going to take pictures.
I can already tell you won't naturally tend to go towards it.
Yeah, that list was
natural. But it would be funny if you tried to do them.
You should.
Like if you read the list and then you
tried to do them all. Tried to do all the bad ones.
That'd be great.
That's funny. All right, that's going to do it for your Aftercast. And as always, thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.